So it really is starting to look like the political tide may be turning against Donald Trump. Can we just have some fun with that this morning? Because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So can we just have some fun this morning? A piece just ran in the Atlantic that caught my attention. And I think it dovetails pretty nicely with what we're starting to see happen to some of the Republican candidates for office who are being endorsed by Donald Trump. The Atlantic piece was authored by journalist Mark Leibovich, and it's titled, "Just Call Trump a Loser." His record is clear. Some nervy Republican challenger should say so. And that article reads in part, Trump's bizarre and enduring hold over his party has made it verboten for many Republicans to even utter publicly the unpleasant fact of his defeat, something they will readily acknowledge in private. I caught up recently with several Trump-opposing Republican strategists and former associates of the president who argue this restraint should end. The best way for a Republican to depose Trump in 2024, let me just put a pin in that because as a lawyer, I hear the word depose and I think take his deposition, but obviously Mr. Leibovich used the word depose to mean dethrone. You know, it often takes lawyers to misconstrue things. I'll let you in on a little secret. I am a lawyer, but I don't really like lawyers very much. Please don't tell the lawyers that. Let me go back to the piece. The best way for a Republican to depose Trump in 2024, they said, will be to call Trump a loser as early and as brutally as possible, and keep pointing out the absurdity of treating a one-term, twice-impeached, 75-year-old president like a kingmaker and heir apparent. In other words, don't worry about hurting special boys' feelings. And this is probably my favorite quote from the piece. It's by former Virginia Republican Congresswoman Barbara Comstock. Quote, "Why on earth would we hitch our wagons again to a crybaby sore loser who lost the popular vote twice, lost the House, lost the Senate, and lost the White House, and so on," said Barbara Comstock, a longtime political consultant and former Republican Congresswoman from Virginia. For Republicans, whether they embrace the big lie or not, Trump is vulnerable to having the stench of disaster on him. Close quote. Trump's wasn't an ordinary election defeat either. Some nervy Republican challenger needs to remind everyone how rare it is for an incumbent president to lose re-election, and also that Trump was perhaps the most graceless loser and insufferable whiner in presidential history, the first outgoing commander-in-chief in 152 years to skip his successor's swearing in, and that he dragged a lot of Republicans down with him. As Comstock hinted, Trump was the first president since Herbert Hoover to preside over his party's loss of the House, Senate, and the White House in a single term. Said nervy Republican challenger could even, just for fun, remind the former president that he once called the person he lost to the worst presidential candidate in the history of presidential politics. So yes, Trump's power is waning. Trump's influence is receding. Trump's endorsement is on the verge of becoming toxic. And we're here for it all. Now, I readily admit I'm not a political strategist or analyst. I don't even try to play one on TV. But I think there is one thing I do know. And here's what I tweeted out this morning after I read the piece in the Atlantic. We know today's Republican politicians will cling to a twice impeached criminal president if it will help them win re-election. Well, it's looking like it won't. And these same craven politicians will abandon Trump if his support hurts them. Look at how Trump's support is hurting Purdue. Look at those numbers. Trump goes scorched earth criticizing Kemp, and he goes all in endorsing and supporting Purdue, and look at those poll numbers. 53% for Kemp, 27% for Purdue. So you think the Republican politicians will stick with Donald Trump, will stay loyal to him if his support begins to hurt them, becomes toxic to their candidacy? No way. That is the law of political gravity right there. You know, maybe these Republican politicians should take Mark Leibovich's suggestion to heart. You want to be competitive in upcoming elections? Call Donald Trump a loser. You know, if these politicians do that, then they will also, by coincidence or maybe by accident, be telling the truth. And the truth, like justice, should matter. Friends, as always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.